Women in film. Now, that subject might seem a little broad or even a little bit obvious because we do see women on television screens. But what does representation really look like? And more specifically, what does representation look like in the action film industry? Because as we know, women can be superheroes too, but that's not always the case on how they're represented. What is the reality of the representation? Well, most of the time, women fall into negative stereotypes categories that don't let their characters be fully developed. For one, the damsel in distress, always being the background character that needs to be rescued by the more dominant male lead. Or even having characters be over-sexualized, again, stereotyping women as objects and not as effective characters within the plot of the film. And this can be seen in various different films within the action industry. Now, this all brings me to the Bechdel theory. But what is it? Well, it's a theory created by graphic design artist Alison Bechdel in 1985. And it created 3 simple rules that could be used to test any movie on how well they're accurately representing women in the film. Now, here are the rules. There must be 2 women in the film. And those 2 women must be able to talk in the film. And additionally, those 2 women must discuss something other than men. Sounds easy, right? Well, think again. Surprisingly, some of our favorite films within the action industry genre actually do not comply with these rules. Even though there may be women in these films, it does not mean they're given the chance to actually let their characters shine. Think about it. Not even allowing them to have conversations more than just about men? How are these characters supposed to be fully developed? But ultimately, why does this information matter? Well, as we can see, the film industry can be very powerful. To many individuals, this is where you can get information on who to look up to or who you want to be, especially for a younger audience. And looking at the stats, out of all the films made in the United States and Canada, 40% are action films. And out of that 40%, only 27% had female stars. So really, there's a huge lack of representation. So shouldn't representation matter? Although there is positive examples of women in action, they're very few and far between. Of course, there are cult favorites such as Wonder Woman and Black Widow that really strengthen the representation of women on the movie screens, but we have a long ways to go. Throughout history, even though women's representation in action films has greatly improved, it is not time to stop the progress now. It is our responsibility as people who intake media as well as create it to be creating things that accurately represent the world we live in, showcasing women as leaders, as powerful change makers, and as heroes.